Yeah, so I was into truth campaigning in its various manifestations or areas of need and necessity for investigation in the immediate period from the late 90s to the time now. And I still call myself mainly, as an activist, a truth activist or truth campaigner. And I've been quite active, as I say, under that main sort of umbrella heading. But I've come to rest in the last 12 years in the child rights and anti-child abuse issues, because that's what started me off right in the beginning of my life. That's what upset me the most, and it still upsets me the most. I can't think of anything worse than raping or torturing a small child. I cannot think of anything.
Well, any kind of abuse.
Any kind of abuse.
And what's going on now in schools
and
is abuse,
even
isn't it?
Taking from their parents.
Yeah.
I told you a bit a few minutes back.
Well, don't you think now it's critical though with the what's happening in schools now?
Yes.
With
Well, okay, this is the latest danger for the children, because
it is
they don't
indeed.
need the jabs, do they?
No.
Their immune system's still working quite well, and they don't get very ill.
Well, it hasn't properly developed yet, has it?
That's right, and
with the younger ones.
So they don't need it, and
No.
and actually the adverse effects for children are far more serious than for some adults.
So basically, it's another form of abuse, isn't it? Which has got to be taken hold of.
Forcing anything on people.
That's right.
There used to be sort of Hippocratic oaths and Hippocratic protocols that.
I think the word coercion is taboo now, isn't it?
Medical treatment had to be voluntary with the consent. Consent was a definite part of the whole thing, wasn't it? Being treated for anything. Unless you wanted to put yourself up as a guinea pig to try something out.
Well, that's right. They can do what they want, can't the people,
Yes, if you put yourself forward.
But of course, you're involved in something a bit deeper, really, aren't you, from where you're coming from?
Well, I mean, it's deep because it goes deep, and a lot of it's covered up.
And it's global, yeah.
And it's global, it's international, so it's a world problem. So as well as starting this thing called childrenfirstuk.net, this network of people who want to try and stop child abuse in our country, I've also registered the domain name childrenfirstworld.net and .org, because I think we need to do this as an international effort. We need to get little groups of people in every country doing the research as to what's going on in this particular area of national life.
Well, I'm sure there's people all over the world who'd want to get involved because they've been doing it, wouldn't they? So
I've got friends all over the world into the same issue.
So
I've been going with this for 12 years. It's quite a long time out of one life. It's not a mean chunk of time. And several campaigns. I've been McKenzie friend in the family courts. I've met parents whose children were removed from them, and sometimes it's necessary, just occasionally it's necessary, because the parents just are not suitable parents to look after children. And we know from many recent horror stories that these things going on in private homes are not picked up in time.
Yeah.
With the horrible results, tragic results of the awful story.
So these people, your friends all around the world, they're involved with Children First, or will they be getting involved?
Of course, the child trafficking, which means there's a sort of systematic conduit of children.
Yeah, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands, aren't we?
Could be millions.
Yeah.
If you really.
Well, every year. There's no, but don't know for sure.
I don't know if you remember a few months back, possibly sometime about 18 months ago. There was this container ship from the Far East that got stranded on a bank in the beginning of the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
And inside were found 1,200 dead children, something like 13,500 still living, and some of the little ones were in containers, little boxes.
Well, that certainly wasn't on the mainstream media, was it?
Well, that's just come out in the last few days, actually.
Oh, so it's out, it's on the media?
Yes, it's on the media. See, this is it, the truth.
Well,
in this world that we're in, there's too many eyes and ears, cameras, recording instruments, TV channels, eyes and ears, voices.
Well, these children literally disappear, don't they,
Recording everything that happens. Yeah. It's quite a dangerous time, I would say, for people into full-scale child abuse. and
Yeah.
cover-ups there are.
Well, yeah.
It's not just me doing it. You know, if I shut up, which I have, like a lot of the time I've shut up because I don't actually want to go to prison. I want to stay and look after my family and, you know, live my life and help other people, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what I'm
So I
about.
actually
Human
don't want to
rights,
get locked
basically.
up. I don't want to get locked up, and I don't see much point in that.
Yeah.
So I do shut up from time to time, and I certainly don't break my gag. So, but if I wasn't saying certain things, other people would, because there's so many people already on this trail.
Well,
now.
yes, it's building
Yeah.
up now, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
even if I never said another word, I think the course of inquiry would still go on. So now you asked me back there whether I want to sort of ask people to join childrenfirstuk.net. I would say I'd love you to know about it. You could visit the website. Joining, I don't seem to be able to get anybody to join because people are too busy with COVID, number one, and also people are poor, number two, and I'm asking for subscriptions. Why am I asking for subscriptions? It's only £10 a year individual subscription, £5 for an OAP student or, you know, somebody with a disability or whatever. Nothing for homeless people, nothing for children themselves. Families, I might ask them to pay me £15. It's not me that's getting it, it's the network, so that I can build a better website and start to get people joining in a big way.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I need to put leaflets on the street, I need to do all the usual things, you know, promotional things. So getting people to pay just £10 a year is going to be, you know, as I say, drawing water
It's
out
not
of
a lot,
stones.
is it? No.
It's not a lot, and yet why do I ask for the donations or not donations, subscriptions at all? Because if you pay for something, it reinforces your commitment to something. And I want people to feel committed to be members of the Children First Network because they have committed themselves to not fighting but supporting people who are trying to
It can
break
only be
down
good.
the barriers
Yeah.
against taking the lid off this whole area of activity in our society, hidden area, in which, you know, everybody from quite high up people down to
Yes.
people are
Yes,
involved.
it's getting out, isn't it?
And that is the problem, that people high up the pecking order are involved, and that's the main problem. So what we need is a big network of people everywhere. I would like to run the network by constituencies. So in every constituency you've got an MP. You've got to make that MP declare himself not to be supportive of any form of paedophilia, ritual abuse, illegal child snatching, you know, when local authorities cutting corners to take people, children. That MP must be against all it. If we have MPs throughout the country who don't like child abuse, just as I don't, most people don't like it either.
No,
Not
no.
by any means the only one who doesn't like child. If we have those people in Parliament, rather than people who are secretly into paedophilia or perpetrators plus apologists for it, like Harriet Harman, who just resigned, she wanted the age of consent for having sex with a child to go down to something like 4 or 5 in the late 70s. And there was this thing called the Paedophile Information Network, which she was a big part of. Well, we don't want people like that in the Parliament.
No.
She may be a lovely lady in all other ways, but this, to me, is the sticking point.
Well,
I wouldn't want to
where's
have
she
her as
coming
my
from
MP.
then?
Well, she and her husband both seem very lovely people. You wouldn't know if
No.
you met them. But you know, she's on the record of having been a promoter of this lowering of the age of consent at that time, and fortunately it was all shut down by mid-80s. So we don't want that mentality in the Parliament, people representing us. You know, people representing us are representing ordinary people. 90%, 99% of ordinary people would not like child abuse, would not like any form of abuse, sexual abuse, torture of children. If they knew it was going on, they'd want to do something about it and stop it. So I would say, you know, 90%, let's say there's some kind of small minority. I have to say it's a small minority, but a powerful one. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Powerful.
well, this is it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say any more. I would love people to join childrenfirstuk.net. I would love people to follow as I go along and try to develop it.
And of
Follow
course, you've got an email, haven't
yes,
you?
I've got an email. Belinda@childrenfirstuk.net. And
It's
I also-
Proton Mail,
yes,
isn't
I've
it?
got another email, C1UK, Children First C1
Yeah,
UK at protonmail.com,
yeah.
isn't it?
I don't know, but that could be found because you can, if people want to ask you questions and stuff, the email would be handy, wouldn't it, for that?
It would be, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll put it up underneath this
Very
anyway.
much,
Yeah,
yes.
because I've got the Proton
And
one.
keep
Yeah.
going with what you're doing, because what you're doing is very valuable. 'Cause
Well,
wherever you
as
go,
long as
you've
I
got a
can
camera,
breathe.
and you seek out people with things to say on
Yeah.
your camera, and you also spread beautiful music, because your website, isn't it, is Music on the Isle of Wight.
That's right, yeah. Derek Farrell music on the Isle of Wight.
Lovely things.
It's
on there.
mainly music from the Isle of Wight,
all
yeah.
the golden oldies that I loved in the.
Oh, that's
50s
those
and
things I've been
60s.
sending you in emails. Those are from YouTube.
Yes.
They're
Well, it's very nice
links
to
from
have them.
YouTube. Donovan and people like that in it.
Yes, oh my gosh, it's-
Well, he sang so many songs with the London theme, like Sunny Googe Street and Hampstead Incident and stuff like that.
yeah.
And they're great songs, and it really fits in with me. You know, when I'm up here, I'm thinking of all these songs. You know,
Yeah. That's right.
Sunny
You're a
South
beautiful singer.
Kensington's another one. You know.
Beautiful singer, not bad on the guitar.
Oh, thank you. That's
You-
appreciated.
You know,
Yeah.
so you're
I'm not as
great-
good.
you're
I'm not as good as I was getting, but I'm still delivering. You know.
great
So
house guest to have anyway.
Oh, that's
Enjoy
it.
your company.
Oh, thank
Come
you.
back
That's
anytime. Got a key to my house, haven't you? So
yeah, I have indeed. Yeah.
Just walk in the door.
This is it, just in case you're out. Yeah. I'm very appreciative, Belinda. I don't think we met by accident somehow. You know, I believe in.
Well,
In fact,
well,
I know
things seem
about.
to happen by
I wouldn't say I
accident, but then
believe in providence,
when
but
good things happen from the accidental things that
yeah.
happen,
Well,
you start to
providence
say,
works when you say when if people become committed, and that's where I am, and then you start meeting people, things happen that you wouldn't expect,
Yeah.
and I think that's how I met you through gears, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, there you go.
Anyway, you've got a bus to catch or a train to catch later.
Right, so yeah, I think you're doing a great job, Belinda. I think
I'm
what
not
you,
doing it
I mean,
much
you
at the
take
moment.
people in off the street. It's, you know,
Yes,
it's,
I do. Yes, I've just taken somebody off the street
You have, haven't
outside
you?
Sainsbury's.
yeah, Iranian guy, innit?
Yes,
yeah.
he's a lovely guy.
And isn't there someone else you took off this?
Yes.
Oh, you employ people, don't you, off the street?
I refuge for mothers fleeing social services. you
Yeah.
know, all sorts of people.
And you've got tradesmen off the street, haven't you, to do work for you?
Yes, that's
Who've
right. Yes,
been
my
begging on
main-
the street.
My main builder, who's busy in my property today, you know, he was begging in the little lane going up next to the station for several
There
months.
you go, you see.
And he had a little sign in front of him saying looking for work, and he was reading a book. So I thought, reading a book, sign in front. So I said, well, come and work for me. Come and help me.
Well, I think what you do, you're a selfless person.
I don't know. I don't think we're going.
I think you are, but you know,
We won't go there. I love people. I want the society to be a healthier society. And I think if we start looking after the children as a priority, all children, never mind whose children they are, never mind their background, never mind their colour, their ethnicity, their creed, the politics of their parents, any
they
children
must be protected. Yeah.
must be protected, including babies in the womb, tiny babies just
Yeah.
born. I mean, how can they defend themselves? How can
Well, this is it, innocence.
they...
innit?
innocence. And if you see small children, I mean, it's the most beautiful thing in nature, isn't
It is. Through the eyes of a child, they say, don't it?
That's right, that's it.
Anyways,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Belinda.